Hello and welcome back to the Double Dribble Podcast, episode 15 with Jacob and Ray.
Yes, welcome back. At the end of the last one, we asked for something interesting to happen, and basketball gave that to us. Donovan Mitchell has been traded to the Cavs. And I feel like, do you agree with me on this? Cavs were like a contender to get Mitchell, but they weren't like up there. I mean, Knicks were obviously way above everyone else, but I didn't expect this, and I don't think many did.
I think this is kind of like a Warriors championship sort of underdog thing, like they were there but not really there. If you know what I mean.
So they were in it, but nobody really thought. And I think I'm going to say it right away. I think the reason we don't see Donovan Mitchell in a Knicks jersey is because he's of the decision by the Knicks front office to extend RJ Barrett to a 4-year deal. And even though this was expected, RJ Barrett's that kind of up-and-comer, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is... I think that was something that triggered Utah to maybe look somewhere else, just because... just like the pieces. But I think it is not... I don't think it's a coincidence that happened, and then a few days later, a move happened that's not to do with the New York.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with Danny Ainge being in the front office, he's definitely looking for the most they can get. And I think New York were putting in like 2 or 3 first, or that's what they were offering. And they just weren't going to accept that.
They wanted more. And this is what the Cavs offered up that ended up meeting Utah's criteria. Colin Sexton, who everyone's really comparing to like a worse version of Donovan Mitchell anyway.
Yeah.
Their rookie, their first round pick, Agbaji. I probably pronounced that wrong.
Yeah.
Larry Markkinen, 2025, 27, 29 first round picks, and the 26 and 28 pick swaps. So if you include the swaps, that's 5 first round picks and 2 solid role players and 1 rookie who could go somewhere.
I saw this, I can't remember where I heard it or saw it, but thinking about it, from last year where they almost made the playoffs, the Cavs, they lost 1 role player because Sexton was injured for the majority of the season. Agbaji's a rookie. So really from last year, they only lost Lauri Markkinen and 5 firsts.
But that's not to say that Sexton let's say Sexton could have come back and done good things for them. Just the verdict on who won this trade straight away. So who actually win this? And I think we think it's not a situation of neither team wins. It's more of a both teams win.
Yeah. Because Utah gets what they want with all the first and getting some more young, sort of unproven players to add on, so then they can build from that. And then, of course, the Cavs get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell, obviously there's some things to work out in Cleveland, and we'll cover that later, but I think that just almost the same problem in Utah. Someone else to score.
Yeah.
Someone else to get a bucket other than Darius Garland. And I know, Evan Mobley could have become a solid scorer. But what you'll find with bigs these days is they score off guards facilitating.
Yeah.
And
Mobley,
that's just
you go.
That's just the way the NBA's headed. The bigs will still be impactful, but it's different to the way it used to be where it was all post-game and stuff.
Yeah, now the offense is run through the guards, and then the bigs just kind of receive from that.
The bigs are the beneficiary of how good the guards are.
Yeah.
How much attention the guards bring.
I just wanted to take a moment to recognise how bad the Knicks lost is. They had all the pieces.
This to me is worse than the Indiana with DeAndre Ayton one.
Yeah, because they had all the pieces to get him, and it's not like, he requested it. Like, it's not like he requested a trade or something like that, and then everyone's kind of in there. He wanted to go to the Knicks.
Yeah.
And that's why they lost it so bad, because imagine
they had a top tier player wanting to come to their team.
Yeah, and the pieces to get him.
Yeah. For some reason they didn't offer it up. I mean, like, if I'm the Knicks, I would have gone all in, because you got this all-star who wants to come to your team. And the Knicks, they've got pieces to build around, especially if they get a Donovan Mitchell. They brought in Jalen Brunson, probably a bit of an overpay.
Yeah.
They've got Julius Randle, who has potential in the future, although he's like 26 already. Mitchell Robinson, who's I think he could turn into a bit of a Jared Allen.
Yeah. Like shot blocker, rim runner.
Yeah. And then obviously RJ Barrett, who's now the centerpiece because they didn't get Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
So with Donovan Mitchell, to me, that's a solid playoff team. What I've just said.
I feel like as well, there's a bit of worriness with some GMs when Danny Ainge calls you up. Because how many times he's fleeced, and I mean fleeced, other GMs. Surely after that track record, you're like, oh, is this the right offer?
Yeah. It's a bit shaky. And then you go to the Cavs, who's just... It's probably a bit more simple for them, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk about the impacts for Utah, and we don't have notes on this, but you could almost have one for impacts for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because even though they virtually have nothing to do with this trade, when you actually look at it, it's massive for them in terms of their future.
Yeah.
Because they cleared up so much to get him.
Yeah, and they just primed their assets for him.
So, in terms of Utah, they get... This is a weird way to say it, but you'd probably say they get significantly worse, which for them is a good thing.
Yeah. And as well, I don't think they wanted this situation where Donovan Mitchell is going to be like the only really good player going into training camp and early in the season.
Yeah. They for their two, call them old stars, so they're two centerpieces for their couple-year stance of being one of the best in the league. Their two best players, they managed 13 first-round picks from them in this just one off season.
Yeah, which
is absolute gold if you're looking to rebuild through the draft. Especially
the fact that they got quite a few first seeds, but they never really went anywhere.
Yeah. Like, they didn't... they didn't make it past the second round.
Yeah.
In that little run. I mean, I think they made the conference finals. Obviously, they ran into, like, OKC with Westbrook and Paul George.
Didn't they beat them?
Actually, they might have.
Yeah, that was
That was the year they might have made it to the conference finals.
That was Mitchell's rookie year. They beat Westbrook and George.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was the year they made it to. But that's kind of out of this little run.
Yeah, because that was
it's weird. It's weird to say that, but that's early in Donovan Mitchell's career, and then their run of being one of the best in the league, and for a couple of years the best in the league, came like maybe 4 years ago. I'd say it started.
Yeah, around 2018, 2019.
Yeah. And so they're two old stars. They got 13 first, and you'd expect at least one of them will be a good player.
Yeah.
Maybe it's even this year with Wembanyama.
Yeah.
But like, there might be moves for the future in getting off. Because, like, when you look at San Antonio, they are, like, historically bad.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, if you look at their roster, they're really expecting to get Wembanyama.
Yeah, and that's the problem with going all in. Like, I feel like Utah's in a very good situation here where they can be bad, but they still have these unproven young guys where some of them will pan out. So then, even if, like, they don't get Wembanyama, they still have, like, a good future with all the firsts.
Yeah, and I think that obviously they're not. If they don't get the last seed, they're not going to be disappointed because if they get the 14th seed, they have pretty similar odds, right?
Yeah, because we said this with OKC that the lottery odds could help them if you get like in terms of lottery odds, like the 6th best odds. That gives you a high chance of jumping, whereas before when you had a lower chance.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like, I think that players like Sexton, maybe, I don't think he's hanging around in Utah personally. I think he's got a bright enough future for me to go. Yeah, he probably doesn't want to hang around in Utah, and Utah probably don't want him.
It depends what he brings, like, because he'll have a lot of green light this year.
Yeah, I mean, it might be his value year, I guess.
Yeah.
His year to show the league that he could be a top 10 shooting guard in the league, or at least guard. Or players like Markkanen, who we've seen has shown a little bit of potential at least.
Yeah.
And Agbaji, like, I think all the guys they got in this deal. It's so weird to think about, but, like, these guys could make them too good. Like, to really gun for that. Like, I think with these, OKC are better than them. You never know. I just think that it'll be, that they will be. It's hard to say.
Teams like Detroit with Cade and Sadiq Bey are probably better than them.
Well, I mean, we'll literally just see how these guys go in the first 5-10 games of the season.
I was thinking about this as well. I think that if they want to get worse, I think they will over the course until the trade deadline with, like, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic and guys like this.
Yeah.
Get a few first, because they have no use for, like, Mike Conley.
Oh, God, no.
They just want to bring these young players through, get their value up, give them good playing time, and get some first for the older guys.
Yeah, I just think with these players, we'll see in the first 5-10 games how they pan out, how Sexton came back from that injury, all that kind of stuff. And then in terms of the Cavs, they've built on their young core.
Yeah.
They've extended. Obviously they've jumped from the 7th seed to the 8th seed to, I reckon, 4th seed.
It's hard.
I wouldn't count them out to be a 4th seed.
I heard this, that the East and West, they're just both so stacked. Like, think about this. For your 8 to 10, you've got, in the East, you've got the Bucks, the 76ers, the Heat, the Raptors, the Cavs.
Yeah, but here's the way I see it. You've got Rudy Gobert in one corner, and you've got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in the other corner. Who would you rather have?
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Correct. right? So you're already better than that Rudy Gobert part. You've got Donovan Mitchell, who was the main player in that run. And then you've got a better version of Mike Conley at your point guard. And in terms of defense, you can chuck an Isaac Okoro in there. I think that this team, if it works out well, can be better than that Utah team.
Yeah, I agree. But, what I mean is, just in terms of overall the Eastern Conference, you have Miami, Boston, the Bucks, 76ers, Raptors, Bulls, Nets, Hawks, and Cavs, and Knicks, all gunning for 8 spots.
Yeah, I know, you're right. But I just think that if I look at the Sixers, this team can be better than the Sixers. I think Garland's better than Maxey. I think Mitchell's better than James Harden. And I think Jared Allen and Evan Mobley aren't, if you put them together, aren't too far behind Joel Embiid. And, as I said before, they have players like Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, who can run through there. Karis LeVert gave him a bucket. Isaac Okoro is a pretty good defender. Right? I think there's moves to come for some wing defenders.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like this year they're looking for a 6 seed, 5 seed. Get some.
Yeah, no, I don't expect them to get the 4 seed. I just think that's their potential.
I think they're going for 6 seed, 5 seed. Try get some more experience in the younger players, and I reckon this team will be a dominant force in 3 years when you've got a really dominant force. When you've got Mitchell who'll be 29 prime, then Garland who'll be 26 prime. Then you've got
Jared Allen, who's already in his prime, or
yeah,
he's entering it. Evan Mobley will be entering his prime.
Yeah, he'll be 23, but in the league for 4 seasons.
Yeah. There's players like Isaac Okoro who got drafted, I think, in LaMelo's draft.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's, as we said, young core.
And also,
yeah,
I was thinking about this. They did not give up their 2024 pick, which is the Bronny James draft class.
Oh yeah, and they're just holding on to that.
And they're going to be good. Well, we think they should be.
Well, yeah,
So,
yeah.
If they can, I think they want to get Bronny and bring LeBron back to Cleveland. Imagine that you've got a team of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron, Mobley, and Allen.
And then Bronny James off the bench, assuming he's good.
Yeah, with everyone. Because LeBron has said he's going to do whatever he can to. He'll sign a minimum if he needs to play with LeBron.
Yeah. So, you never know. Maybe they're just biding their time, or maybe they truly think that this team's a contender. And I ask you the question: to you, are they a legit contender? Are they a contender or a pretender?
It's hard. I think they're a bit of both, but mainly pretender.
Yeah, I say not yet. I say...
Yeah.
I don't think they're a pretender.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Because,
that's why I said
because,
both.
No, but I don't think they're a pretender because I don't think... It's weird to say this, but I don't think they think they're a contender yet.
Yeah.
I think they all think that in a couple of years they'll be the contender. But I don't think they think they're a contender yet. So they're not a pretender as in they're trying but they're not really going to be it. They're more...
You go.
They're more a contender who's not quite going to get there.
Yeah, but I think they're not a pretender as in a team that's just there because they're there. They're a genuine team that's going to be up there in a conference.
They're going to have a playoff push, I think.
Yeah. But they're a genuine team. that will make pushes, because with players like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, like, scoring's fine. You've got great paint defense.
It just comes down to they're going to be looking for those wing defenders to close out games and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think they've got most bases covered.
Except there's just that one. It's just their perimeter defense, and I think we can't go this long without talking about that.
Yeah.
So what moves? Like what? How good will their defense be, and what moves will they make? Are they looking to make to become a real threat? Because you can't guard them, and it's hard to score against them.
Well, first, I think we need... for them, I'd be looking at, like, a Mikal Bridges sort of player. Like, lockdown 3-point shooter.
Yeah, no, but that's really hard to get.
I know, but
if I'm the Cavaliers, I'm doing one of two things. I'm trying to get Isaac Okoro. Sorry, brain blank. I'm trying to get Isaac Okoro to take that step from in all areas, really.
I think...
Or I'm checking the market for... I'm not even going to go for a 3-and-D guy, just a defensive wing.
I think
that's all I'm looking for.
I think this season especially, they're going to try and improve all their players, like especially Isaac Okoro, to try fit that role perfectly.
Yeah.
And also, this might be a reach, but I've said this to you, that Donovan Mitchell might improve the defense a little bit. Because he was a pretty good defender in college, I've heard. And with the scoring burden a bit less, it might improve a bit to where it's not absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to improve the defense. I don't think it's going to get worse, but it wasn't exactly at a stage of good, you know? Like, it wasn't good before.
I just think he might be able to get to where he's a bit below average, with a bit more, like, sort of focus on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the Cavs in particular are going to try and improve his defense.
Yeah.
But
if you're not...
Like in every team, you're going to have the defensive liability. It's just something you can't really avoid.
Unless your name is...
You're going to have that defensive liability. I mean, unless you're like Boston, where you just somehow made your team so you don't.
Unless your team
is
like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. But
I think they're going to try have a multi-year improvement, sort of like what Curry has done defensively.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they let Donovan Mitchell's defense progress as these younger players also progress.
Yeah.
So they use Darius Garland's time and Evan Mobley's time to improve Donovan Mitchell's defense.
Yeah.
But it's who you fill that 3 position at. Like,
yeah.
I'm searching my brain. Like, you could a player like T. Steibel, like he's not an offensively gifted player, but he will give you that perimeter defense that you desperately need.
Yeah, and also with somebody like, for example, they're not going to probably, like, very low chance, but like with Matisse, then he can be like your project offensively sort of thing, like just work that 3 up, get it better.
Yeah, and then you've got 2 options. Like I'm mentioning Okoro a lot, but I'm excited about him as a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, he's actually one of the main pieces of pieces of this trade, because like that puts his spot under high pressure. Because now you've got 2 6'1" guards in your backcourt where the defense isn't great, so you really need that lockdown player.
Yeah, and I think they can pull off a move of Matisse Thybulle, or like a player like him.
Yeah.
You've got a Karis LeVert. You've got like Dean Wade. You probably have some leftover seconds, and Matisse, he's valuable to the 76ers, but he's not crazy valuable where the Sixers won't want to let him go.
Yeah. But, like, I feel like a 3-point shooter is, like, very important on this team at that 3.
I've forgotten. Can Mobley shoot from 3?
I think so. I think he's a pretty good shooter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is important, but I think it just comes down to prioritising.
Yeah. Because
in that you have shooters coming off the bench, then you can put them in there and just have a defensive guy that you can put in there and rely to give his all on defense and lift that side of the ball to a point where on the perimeter it's not really bad.
Yeah, I think they want somebody with Marcus Smart sort of intensity and hustle, like the Draymond Green, Marcus Smart sort of thing, where they give their all on defense, hustle for everything, intensity.
They're a leader.
Yeah.
But I mean, this sounds pretty bad, but you might swoop in on this little dilemma in Golden State with Draymond Green. And it's also a bit of experience in there that you can pass over. I don't think that's going to happen out of any means, but it's kind of fun to think about.
Yeah, I was also thinking about it just now. The fact that I feel like a veteran would be really good at that 3, like a defensive veteran. So then
kind of like a Jeff Green, or like younger than that.
Yeah, but that sort of thing. So that then...
Yeah.
You have that leadership that's there. You have the experience to go with that hustle and energy and effort.
You know, get a bit tired. It would take a bit of research to find that guy, but I think that's kind of the things they'll be looking for. I don't think they'll get all of that, but then you have to also remember, you could piece it together and you could get multiple players. Like you get one guy who's a bucket from 3. You get one guy who's a clamps. One guy who's like a leader. And then you can play the rotations how you want and what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that they should look into if they can't find that perfect player, I guess.
Yep. So for the 3, I think the priority list goes defender, 3-point shooter, veteran.
Yeah, veteran leader, I think we'll say.
Yeah, so 1 is defender, 2 is 3-point shooter, 3 is veteran leader.
Yeah. So impact on league. So the East, as we've mentioned, we've kind of touched on it already. The East gets harder.
Yeah, and quite a bit as well.
Yeah,
now if you have a contender/pretender, that means another team is probably going to miss out of the playoffs.
A team like Charlotte, maybe, who last year made it, but
I listed 10 very good teams in the Bucks, the 76ers, the Heat, the Cavs, the Raptors, the Celtics, the Bulls, the Nets, the Hawks, and the Knicks.
The Hornets and the Knicks. That's 11.
That's 11. So
one of those teams will miss out.
3 of those teams are actually going to miss out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but one of them will miss out on the play-in.
Who do you think is missing out on the playoffs in those teams? I think Knicks.
Alright, Charlotte's one. Charlotte, Knicks.
And then you've got...
Not Atlanta. Atlanta are good.
Yeah, then you've got Miami, Boston, Bucks, 76ers, Raptors, Bulls, Nets, and Hawks, plus DeJounte and Cavs.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to say it's one of these two teams. Bulls. Oh no, it's putting in perspective. It's hard to say, but Nets are one of them just because it could go pear-shaped again.
Yeah.
Nets, Bulls, and Raptors.
Yeah.
And I had to say Raptors, but it's gotten a bit tough for them
and also,
to the point where it might get a bit hostile.
It's weird to think about, but one of those three we listed just then is going to miss out. And that could end up being the Hawks, or that could end up being out of nowhere. I don't know, the Heat.
Philly.
That could be like the Heat. Jimmy Butler gets injured and
Philly. Now this sounds bad, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly are one of those teams that missed out. It'll be unfortunate, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be falling out of my shoes. Because it's a team that can easily go downhill. If you get what I'm saying.
But again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is what I hate about sports. Heat basically one major injury away from missing the playoffs. Celtics, one injury.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't hate that about sports because it's not really sports. It's just what happens with players. It's an opportunity thing, and I don't think the Heat are winning anytime soon.
No, and Celtics, they're one injury away from dropping drastically.
Yeah.
Bucks are probably almost going to be out of the playoffs.
Same. It's literally the same with every team in the league. You count them off, except if the Nets end up being good, then except the Nets because they still have
the Celtics. The Celtics are going to drop, but
the Celtics. Yeah, okay. I'll say Celtics, but not the Nets would still be a top 5 contention if Kyrie gets injured.
And probably the Nuggets as well. Depends who.
Yeah, well, you can say that about everything. You can say that about the Warriors.
No,
Depends
but with the Nuggets, they've got Murray.
No, but if it's Jokic, they're dropping dramatically.
Yeah. Timberwolves, I don't know. Strong teams.
As we said, contender or pretender. I think that we said it. These gets harder. They're not. For me, they're like the Raptors from last year.
Yeah, they're there, but not there. But they're
they're in it. They're in it. But they're not. They're not. It would take a miracle to actually win it.
Yeah.
Utah finally get rid of Mitchell, but not to the place everyone expected.
Yeah. Again, there was a lot of shock around the Cavs being the place or the destination for Mitchell.
Yeah.
Also, I remember this. I just forgot about it. How does this affect Donovan Mitchell? You wanted to go to New York, you end up in Cleveland. Again, we've said it before. We don't really know, how they feel or think about things, so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that will come out in, social media in the next couple of days.
Yeah, because you can see if he's, tweeting stuff or, things like that, you can really see, because, if he comes out and tweets, stuff, I don't know, anything really, positive about the Cavs, then
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because he's joined a team that, he's got real potential to do something with.
Yeah.
And Utah increased chances of a high pick and make life a little bit harder for all the other tanking teams. This pretty much means Utah have a higher chance of getting a good pick, but it just means for teams like San Antonio, I can't think of anyone else who's tanking.
Orlando.
Detroit, Houston, all these teams that might be gunning for number one pick. It's just another team to have to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, and next up is news. So nothing really that massive has happened, apart from the Donovan Mitchell trade, but...
Yeah, it's just two things. First one, Steph Curry graduated from Davidson and was inducted to the Davidson Hall of Fame and jersey retirement, which I guess was a long time coming, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he had this 12-month course or something. Or he did something sometime.
Yeah.
And graduated.
I guess it was just for the sake of graduating.
Yeah. And,
it's not a money. It's definitely not a money thing.
No.
Yeah, there's not really much else to touch on there.
Yeah, and RJ Barrett, as we talked about before, signed a 4-year, $120 million rookie extension. All to that is basically it just ended the Knicks' chances of getting Donovan Mitchell.
But I don't mind it horribly because RJ Barrett could end up being as good as Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's shown that kind of potential.
Yeah.
So, if I'm obviously it sucks, and you're the loser of all this, but, you still have RJ Barrett, and you still have him for 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so... I think they've done a good job of... They locked up... now they've locked up RJ Barrett. They've got Jalen Brunson under a 4-year contract. They have Mitchell Robinson under, another 3 years. They've, locked up this core. And then they can just get small pieces around that.
Yeah. So next up, we're gonna look at an article that it's just about Cleveland, and we're just gonna literally just skim through it.
Yeah, because we mostly talked about it, but
yeah, but we'll just skim through it. It's by Sporting News, if you want to check it out. It's literally just about the Donovan Mitchell and Cleveland.
It's basically, does it make them a contender?
Yeah, it answers our question, but probably a bit better than we answered it. So, it's not working for me, I can't see it, but why don't you just take it away?
I can't see it either, what the hell? Okay, some technical issues. We'll be back in a sec. Yeah, I got it now.
Cool, go. I'll just go off what you say.
Yeah, so first off, it starts by saying the Eastern Conference got a lot better after the Cavs came off a surprising 44-win season that had them competing for a playoff spot. Then they stunned the NBA with a blockbuster trade. Of course, the package of Sexton, Markkanen, Agbaji, and a bunch of picks for the 3-time All-Star Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty much, while Mitchell certainly has his flaws, he's considered to be one of the best offensive guards.
Yeah.
And just he can shoot from anywhere. He's for his size, he's a good finisher in the paint.
Yeah.
But the main issue, as again we've touched on, is his defense. But they also they go on to talk about how with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, it's not going to be as bad, I guess.
Yeah, because they're both athletic enough, I guess, to guard the perimeter. They're both not going to be sitting in the paint the whole game.
Yeah.
And they'll get out there and they'll the bigs will play good perimeter defense, which just kind of lifts your whole team sort of thing. So then I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling.
It's pretty much the main thing of this article is it talks about how Donovan Mitchell is a really good offensive player. But it talks about how there's a big problem. That there's not a big problem, but there's a problem in Donovan Mitchell's perimeter defense.
Yeah.
That concerns lots of people. But when you zoom out a little bit, what you see is three. Last year you had 3 All-Stars and one person who finished second in Rookie of the Year voting and should be an All-Star in the future.
Yeah. And also, I just said it, and it could be wrong, but I think that Donovan Mitchell has potential defensively.
Yeah.
I don't know, he could turn into an okay defender, and then all of this...
Especially with his stature. Like, you see, he's not like Garland where he's short and, like...
Yeah, he's got like a 6'10" wingspan or something.
Yeah. So, I think that he could be a good defender. Just how well... I don't think that was ever a big thing in Utah.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something massive Utah were trying to correct, and I think it might have stabbed in the back a little playoff time. So I think the Cavs will notice that and try and work with Mitchell, and I think he could be a good defender. And it also, I think, some of the film I've watched, it just comes down to, like, effort kind of thing.
Yeah, and
like sometimes he just kind of blanks out.
And when you're carrying the load as much as he was, it's hard to put in as much effort on both ends of the floor. No excuse, but like...
Yeah.
But now, with that offensive burden much less, he probably should be able to put in quite a bit more effort, or should put a lot more effort on defensively.
Yeah.
Just those hustle plays, like extra rotations, they will add up in the end of the game. Like, that could be 6 points from just 2 threes you didn't extra rotate over.
Yeah.
And that could be the game.
It's all important, especially when it comes to playoffs, but we'll see. It's another thing where it's off season, and you make your predictions. Sometimes you get it right, and sometimes your predictions are absolutely wild.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. 10 games, 1 month into the season, I think we'll have a good view on the way the Cavs plan to
Actually, though,
play.
I think it could take, till, I reckon by Christmas, up until Christmas, they don't have an excuse, but they have an excuse, this is they have, the first, 10, 15 games, get used to each other's games, gel.
Yeah, no, but I get that, but I'm kind of more talking about, Donovan Mitchell in himself.
Yeah.
The way the Cavs might have approached trying to get him to have more effort, kind of approached trying to get his defense better and see whether he's really committed to this.
Yeah.
And obviously, like every big change in a team, it's going to take a little bit to kind of get used to each other. But that'll happen eventually, I think.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to how the Cavs approach it and how Donovan Mitchell wants to approach it.
Yeah. Because you see with players like Kobe, who, are just that desperate to be as good as they can, that he'll do anything on both ends of the floor, every possession, won't give anything. Are we going to see that, where Donovan Mitchell is going to come out both ends of the floor, hustling, putting in max effort, or we're going to see lacking effort on defense?
And it could go one or two ways. He could go, I have more defensive help now in Cleveland. I have more offensive help. I can just kind of slack off. Or it could go that Kobe way where it's well, now could be, it's a reset for me, out of Utah, out of Salt Lake. Yeah. It's possibly a better team than he had ever in Utah.
Yeah.
If it all comes together well. So I think that he should just... That's what I'm saying when I say first month we'll see what kind of Donovan Mitchell we'll get.
Because it's all mindset. Like, if he just goes, nah, I got to go put max effort on defense, then he will. And he'll come out and play well on defense.
And personally, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Cause
just a reset environment, a new... I just think that's what we're going to see.
Because this is also where, if he doesn't, then you're not buying into the team, and that can hurt the chemistry in the locker room. Like, if you're not buying into the team, then why are you here?
This Cleveland team, in terms of relating the off seasons, is the same kind of thing as the Bulls team from last year.
Yeah.
So they've brought in an all-star. I mean, obviously...
Yeah, not all.
Did a lot more. Yeah, did a lot more. But it's just see what kind of team we see. And obviously now the Cavs fans have the right to be really excited.
Yeah.
And we saw how exciting the Bulls were, especially at the start of last year.
Before the injuries and stuff.
But again, I personally think that this Cavs team could be better than that Bulls team.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yep. That's pretty much all the article was writing about. It was pretty much everything we touched on. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, blockbuster trade. Hopefully we get more.
Maybe KD next time, or somebody out of the blue.
Who knows? Just maybe there's been some secret talks going on. Who knows? Anyway.
See you
Catch you next time.
Yeah.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.